All right, let's do the metal tag for 2025. This is a response to the heavy metallurgy video. I think it was a live stream. I don't even remember that Marty and Alan did. Was that last week? I don't remember, but everybody's doing it now. And I figured, all right, I'll get in on this. I think I've done this like once in the past. But I liked the questions this year, so I figured I'll do it. And literally everyone is doing this, so I'm behind. I've seen I think I watched like 10 of these in the last 2 days. So everybody's jumping on board, which is awesome to see. So I like that Marty and Alan got that big of a response. So it's 20 questions. I think for the most part I'm able to answer all of them. However, there's one that I struggled with. We'll get to that. But just go ahead and get started. I'm going to plow through these because otherwise this is going to be a really long video. Number 1, hype. Name a release you're eagerly anticipating in 2025. So I don't really know what's coming out this year. Admittedly, I haven't gone through and tried to figure that out. Last year I did. Last year I was able to list off 10 or 12 albums that I was really excited for around the year because they had already been announced or they were rumored. This year I only know of 2. The new Frontalith album that comes out next month. Really excited about that. I love that band, and I've been binging their last 2 albums those last several days. MSUO, Jesus sent me the vinyl, so it's coming, so I'll be able to show it off a lot sooner before the release date. And then I know that King Diamond's coming out with a new album this year. It's been teased. He's been releasing singles. It's gonna happen. I just know it is. So I'm really excited about that. For the most part, anything else, I can't remember. I can't remember what's going to be coming out. I need to go through and look and scour and do all of that. So, but for right now, those are 2 that I can think off the top of my head. Number 2, show the 25th item, either LP, CD, your choice, in your collection. So I did one of everything in my collection. I did cassette. The 25th album is the Black Dahlia Murder with Miasma. For CD, it is... Bear with me here. I have everything all over the goddamn place. Carcass, Flesh-Ripping Sonic Torment. There you go. Which, by the way, when I pulled this yesterday, I was like, all right, I'm listening to that because it's been a long time since I've listened to this. And then for the vinyl, it was coming. I got a big stack of vinyl here because I've been doing other stuff. There's my pup, Brodequin, Instruments of Torture. This actually, I don't know, did I ever show this off? This is a reissue that was put out last year. I finally got it on vinyl. So, yeah, there you go. I cheaped out and I did every single format. Number 3, overdue. Name an older band that you checked out for the first time in 2024 and loved. Well, this was the year of heavy metal and power metal for me. I don't generally listen to a whole lot of... listen to heavy metal, I guess you could say. And that is... Why the hell didn't I pull it off my shelf? God damn it, hold on. Thought I did. I guess I didn't. Here we go. And that is Hammerfall. This band's been around forever, and I listened to them for the first time ever this year and fell in love with them and bought a bunch of their stuff. So, yeah. A couple of other bands I did that with, too, for power metal. Powerwolf was the other one. Windrose. Who else? Gamma Ray. I actually bought a bunch of Gamma Ray albums. I had 1 in my collection that I never really ever listened to. It just came with me everywhere I went, but I've gone through. But yeah, so power metal I've been going through and getting. And then heavy metal I bought all the... what did I buy? Tons of high roller reissues that I've been showing off and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right, number 4, feeding the monkey. This was obviously Alan. How do you purchase most of your music? Either whether it be local, Bandcamp. Yeah, so I would say most of my music comes from distros like Hell's Headbangers, NWN, Blast Beat Vinyl, which is out in New Jersey. It's an online store only. Vinyl Command, which is out in Arizona. It is a physical store and an online store. He is awesome, and he's been getting a lot of really cool older school metal, thrash, used items, and also a lot of the newer reissues and stuff like that from European labels that are expensive to get. I do buy from Bandcamp, not nearly as much as I used to. Actually, I've scaled back buying on Bandcamp quite a bit. And that's because most of the time now I would just buy directly from a label. So, for example, 20 Buck Spin, Relapse, Corpse Gristle, Maggot Stomp, Closed Casket, all of those, Wise Blood, and Redefining Darkness, and Rotted Life, and all of those, Gurgling Gore. Like, I generally would just buy directly from them. And a lot of those sites also have distros that I'll scour. So Corpse Gristle is one, 20 Buck Spin's another, Gurgling Gore does. Like, all of them also have distros. So I'm all over the place, but it's mostly directly from the labels, and then all of like the bigger distributions. And then obviously Discogs. I bought a lot on Discogs this year because I tried to find older releases that I wanted to get in my collection. I'm going to show off a couple of those today. And that's actually where I think a lot of my purchasing is going to be done this year, because I am going to try and focus on getting some grails in my collection and some like older first presses that I've always wanted, because I don't see a reissue coming anytime soon, and slow down buying a lot of the newer releases right away. I said that last year and I completely fucking failed at it because I lost my job. So I'm going to try again this year, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's pretty much where I buy most of my stuff from. But I would say, honestly, like 70% of my buying is directly from labels. So yeah. Number 5, Enigma. Show a heavy metal album that musically is really hard to place in a heavy metal subgenre. I don't really have anything like that in my collection, to be honest with you. Everything is pretty much black metal, death metal, thrash, heavy metal, power metal, and it's pretty clearly defined. I would say maybe one album that I can think off the top of my head would possibly be the new Bedsore album that came out on 20 Buck Spin this year, because it's very 70s prog feeling. And it's pretty much a mixed bag in regards to whether or not it truly is like a death metal album. There are death metal elements to it, but at the same time, but again, that's kind of a cop out. I don't really have anything like that in my collection, to be honest with you. Now I do have other genres of music in my collection that could probably borderline being a blues album versus a jazz album. But again, those merge quite a bit too, depending on the era of the music. So yeah, this one was the one that I had a really hard time. I looked through all of my CDs, all of my tapes, all of my vinyl, and was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I own anything like that. Number 6, Eating Crow. Talk about an album you used to hate, but after years of finally clicked and now you can't get enough of it. So this actually is for several of this band's albums. This is a band that I have a very strong love-hate relationship for, but this album particularly is one that I didn't think I would ever own or buy, and that is Decapitated with Organic Hallucinosis. I am very much in the vein of the first 2 albums only for Decapitated, and that's how I've been for a very long time. I do not like any of their new music at all. This one was a grower on me. Earache started reissuing their stuff. This came up when I was making a purchase for $10, and I knew, the reissue of this was very popular. A lot of people were happy about it. So I started listening to it, and it's grown on me, and I actually quite enjoy it now. So I've been listening to this quite a bit. So yeah, but for the most part, the rest of their discography after this probably will never happen. But yeah, Decapitated is just a very love-hate band for me. So this was the first thing that popped up in my mind when I saw this question. I know not everybody feels that way, so I get it. But just calling it out there, that's just how I feel. All right, number 7, Impulse. Show an album that you blind bought in 2024. So I don't ever do this anymore. I rarely ever blind buy, but I blind bought this because of 1, the album cover, 2, I wanted to add an additional purchase to get free shipping because I am that person, and 3, I had seen a lot of people talking about it on social media, and I even saw some of it going on people's year-end lists. So I've yet to talk about this on this channel, but that is Nuclear Tomb with Terror Labyrinthian, God, I can't fucking talk, on Everlasting Spew. So yeah, I'd never heard this band. This is a lot of fun. What is with this? I did this in my last video too. Like, what the fuck, man? Like last time my tape shot out of my hand. I don't know. Anyway, it's fine. I caught it in my lap. But this band is new to me. I've never heard them before. This is their first ever full length. It came out last year, 2024, which is weird to say because we're only like 2 weeks or a week into it. They're out of the US, and it's very like thrashy death metal, a little bit of proggier elements into it. Yeah, it's not a straightforward death metal album, but it's also got a lot of death thrash in there. And it's goofy at times, and I really, really like it. So, yeah, this is an awesome album, and it skated me. A lot of people saw it throughout the year. I think this came out, when did this come out? In April. So yeah, it had been out for a while. So I blind bought it because I love this album artwork. It's awesome. Well, and of course the CD popped out. So yeah, it did jostle around. I dropped it just now like a goddamn idiot. The album artwork is done by Lucas Court, which is Shoggoth Kinetics. So awesome artwork by Lucas. So yeah, that was immediately one of the reasons why I blind bought it, because I just love that album art. I don't ever do that very often, but I did it for that. Okay. Number 8, Collector Scum. Show a title that you own more than one pressing of the same format, CD or LP. So I actually don't really do have that anymore, to be honest with you. I've sold off all of my duplicates at the beginning of last year when I was unemployed. So, but I do have formats, or I do have albums on different formats, like the same album on different formats. That is something that I have tried to slow down and told myself I wouldn't do anymore. However, I failed miserably last year. And that is obviously basically every single Cannibal Corpse album I own the vinyl and I own the cassette for. So every single one. But I used to have duplicate copies of the first 5 Cannibal Corpse albums. I had Plain Black, a color, and then another like special reissue that were coming out. Same thing with Death. I used to do the color variant copies, collecting for those 2 bands because they're 2 of my all-time favorite bands. And then I sold pretty much all of them, and now I only have 1 copy of each. So, yeah, I told myself I'm not doing that anymore. So I completely stopped doing the duplicate collecting for the same format. Okay, number 9, show off a grail, something that you really wanted that you acquired in 2024. So, yes, these are grails. However, they're reissues. So it feels weird to say that they were grails, but they were grails because I hadn't physically owned them in my collection after I had sold them off a really long time ago. And the first one obviously was Malevolent Creation Retribution. Everybody knows how ecstatic I was when Listenable Records reissued these, because they had not been reissued in forever, and finding an OG copy was super expensive, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and very rare to find a good copy of that at best. I had owned the original CD of this a very long time ago and then sold it and have never gotten it back in my collection since. So I was really happy this got reissued. However, this is a holy grail to own, like, as a first press, and I might actually still try to acquire that. So we'll see. This was one, and then the other one is, I actually don't think I never showed this off on the channel. Malevolent Creation, Flesh Crawls, Descent into the Absurd. This is one of my all-time favorite death metal albums, and again, I owned the CD a long time ago and then sold it, and it has not gotten a reissue, and it's been relatively hard to find, but I was able to find this on Rapture Records, which I believe is out in Brazil. I bought directly from them, and they're doing like this like classic death metal series, so I was able to snag this for like $20 total with the shipping, and it was worth it. So I was super happy about that, to finally have a physical release of this again. And then finally, the last thing is, and this is not really much of a grill. I don't think it's really all that hard to find, but I was able to find this on a random seller that I found on Discogs while I was searching other Exhumed albums. Had this for like $10. I was surprised as hell, and I snagged it right away. And that is the 7-inch Exhumed Excreting Innards. This is the reissue that was put out, I can't remember when. On Afterworld Records. It was relatively recent, like maybe 2017. They made 500 copies of this like red color. I got number 39. And yeah, so one of the things that I'm going to focus on this year is finishing my Exhumed collection. This is one of the few bands where I want to collect like all the 7 inches and the splits and stuff like that. And if I'm able to do that, I will. If not, I'll just buy comps if they're on there. And then Hemorrhage is the other one. Hemorrhage, I'm so close. I have like 3 or 4 splits that I have to get. And I've found them on Discogs for good prices, but they're international, so I've been holding off on that. So yeah, this was kind of another grail for me as well. Okay. Number 10, a plea to the VCLT gods. What is a grail of your item you're on the hunt for? Monstrosity, Impending Doom, please. Please, please, please. Somebody reissue that. And then Cemetery and Evil Shade of Grey. Those are the 2 that I really want back in my collection. So somebody reissue them, or if you have them available on CD, probably CD because I don't know if I'll be able to afford vinyl, hit me up and we'll make a deal. Number 11, Boomerang Album. Show an album that no matter how many times you purge it from your collection, another copy returns to you. So I tried. I know I've purged several things in the past and people have sent me them again, like in trades and stuff. I don't think I own anything like that anymore. I've rebought albums several times like this, but it's not like that. No, the Cannibal Corpse one. Sorry, Cannibal Corpse. Like, I never tried to purge it. I've rebought it several times, and then sold, and then I've bought reissues again. So, but yeah, I don't really have anything like this anymore. My collection has changed so much this last year to where stuff like that doesn't happen anymore. And people are really good about asking me if I have something before they send it now. So yeah. Number 12, Reunion. Name an artist that you had lost track of over time but reconnected with in 2024. So yeah, this band, Slow. Yeah, I recently actually just got this album a couple months ago. So actually more than a couple months ago, probably back in October. Slow is a band out of Belgium. They are like an atmospheric funeral death doom band. Some of their first albums are very ambient and drone, but this is their latest output from 2000, or no, sorry, not their latest. They came out with one in 2023. This is their 2019 Dantalian 5-6. I don't know. This is one of my favorite albums by them. I love this album. It is a very unique sounding, crushing, sorrowful, sad funeral death doom album. So I've been getting back into this band. I kind of forgot they existed, and then my friend on Instagram, we were talking about funeral death doom albums, and he brought this up, and I was like, holy shit, I forgot about that band. So yeah, check them out. Slow. I'll link in the description so you can listen to that if you're not familiar with who they are. Okay, where are we at now? Number 13. We are at, 13. Upstart. Name a new band whose debut album really impressed you. The debut didn't have to come out in 2024, but recently. So this was a no-brainer. Tim Boss with World of Abominations. Holy shit, is this album fucking phenomenal. This is the Wang Quan tape, and I believe Iron Fortress also put this out too on a copy. I'm blanking on where they're from. Sorry, let me pull it up right now. Very good, straightforward death metal, very much in the vein of the old school death metal vein, done right. They're out of the UK, and this is their first ever full length from this year. So I love this album. Definitely check this out. I need to find a vinyl of this. Somebody reissue this vinyl so I can get it, because as much as I love the tape, this is vinyl worthy for me as well. I think I'd be surprised. I feel like more people are going to say that too. I have to watch some more death metal YouTubers to see Influencer, number 14, influencer. Show a band release that you bought in 2024 as a direct result of watching someone's YouTube channel. Well, that was easy. So, two things. I'm going to call out two YouTubers who I watch every single video and interact with often. Aberration, Simon from Explosive Action, sent this to me so many times after he first heard it on Instagram. Have you heard this yet? Have you heard this yet? And when I finally got around to it, I was like, yeah, that's really good. So I bought the record as soon as I was able to find a copy of it. And then, I pulled the wrong album. Well, that's okay. Roger, I can't say your last name. I'm so fucking bad. I'll link in the description. Hornum Rife. I actually did buy this album literally after he showed off their newest release that came out this year. That's not this, but because I, again, was always a fan of this band but didn't own anything physically, so I went and bought these albums because he had showed them off or talked about them on his YouTube channel. So, yeah, shout out to those guys. I'll link them in the description. If you don't know them by now, I'd be really shocked because I'm pretty sure, like, if you follow me, you also follow them. All right, number 15, don't judge a book by its cover. Show a great album with bad cover art. Oh, man, I'm probably going to piss so many people off with this. All right, number 1, Origin, Echoes of Decimation. I fucking love this album, but my God, I hate this album cover. Like, what is this? It looks like a guy's taking a shit. Like, I don't know. And based off of their other albums, there are a lot of, like, this. Well, the face is still there. They're like cosmic-y and shit because that's, their shtick. But I hate this album cover so goddamn much. And I wish, like, here, just make it that. There we go. That would have just really enjoyed that. Don't hate me, but I know it's called Invincible Shield, and it makes sense that would be the album cover, but I just absolutely hate this album cover. It looks like a modern rock album and not necessarily a heavy metal album. Like, the colors are great and everything, but I don't know. Can we have just made it something similar to that? I don't know. Maybe a nitpicky thing. The Shield thing, it's just, I don't know, whatever. Not a fan of that. And then this was a no-brainer. I think everybody would say this. My God, this fucking 90s CGI, whatever the hell this is, Photoshop art, is so bad. It's so bad. I mean, but I would still pick this over AI art, maybe. I don't know, it's pretty fucking terrible. The egg cover. But yeah, we all knew that. So that was a no-brainer, but I figured I'd talk about it anyway. Okay, Rembrandt. Show an album whose cover art was created by one of your favorite artists. So yeah. I need to start doing like an artist series because death metal artwork is like some of my all-time favorites. I'm such a fan of so many artists, and I collect albums, vinyl especially, just so I can have their artwork in like the bigger format. But Wes Benscotter is one of my favorite artists, and he's done several album artworks that I just absolutely love. Like, this is one of my all-time favorite albums of all time. And I love this album. Oh my God, this artwork is so goddamn good. He's a phenomenal artist. He also did the new Fulci album this year. He's touched on everything, but I pulled 3 that I could think of off the top of my head, but he's got a very extensive, as you guys know, I mean, he's been around for forever. He's a legend in the scene. The latest Autopsy album, I was a huge fan of this artwork that came out last year. And then, yeah, he's done Mortician, and I love zombie artwork. So, yeah, I mean, he's done so much more, but that was just what I pulled off the top of my head. But, yeah, I would love to get his prints like framed and shit and just have a Wes Benscotter room of all of the artwork that he's done. He's done so many things, but those are just the ones I could think of off the top of my head. So I've been wanting to do like an artist series where I just talk through like who the artist is and like what their like impact has been in death metal and like what albums they've done, either it be old or newer artists. I need to do that. I really do, because I really want to do something like that, but it just takes a lot of time of researching and editing and stuff that I just haven't been able to dedicate myself to. All right, number 17. Name an album that you would like to see reissued on vinyl or CD, your preferred medium. Cemetery and Evil Shade of Grey. I already said that earlier. Please, for the love of God, somebody reissue that, or if you have a copy that you'd like to sell me. I don't care if it's CD or vinyl. Probably CD, because I doubt vinyl I'll be able to afford if you have an OG copy. But please, for God, somebody Somebody reissue that. I just, ugh. So anyway, okay. Name number 18. Name an album from a genre that you typically do not listen to very much. So I used to be really into blues for a very long time, and then I recently just have, like within the last like 5 years, have just completely fell off and haven't listened to any of it really at all. But I recently, within the last couple months, started to pick up records again from CDs I used to own, and I'm getting back into Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I picked this up not too long ago. Couldn't stand the weather from Vinyl Me Please. I used to do a monthly subscription with them, and I canceled it after I got this. So yeah, blues. I used to love blues. I used to listen to it so much, and I was really heavily into it, and then I kind of just stopped. So yeah. What band, number 19, what band do you hope to see live in 2025? I would love to see Exhumed again. I've been on a huge Exhumed kick. I've seen them twice now, and I absolutely love them live. So yeah, if they tour, I'll definitely go. King Diamond again. I'm pretty sure he'll be touring maybe again. I don't know if he'll come to Florida. I don't know. Like, live shows aren't really a thing that I've been wanting to go to lately. Maybe if I'm able to get to Milwaukee Metal Fest or Death Fest, whatever that's called, and Maryland Death Fest, I'll try and go this year. But it's hard traveling, stuff like that, kids, family. It's tough. But yeah, those are the things I can think off the top of my head. So yeah. Okay, number 20, in closing, tell your viewers about 2 new to me YouTube channels you discovered in 2024, or just shout out 2 channels you enjoy. So I'm going to actually call out 3. All 3 I subscribed to this year, and they were new to me. And they might be new to you. Number 1 is Collecting Death Metal with Gruesome Sean. So Sean actually had been following me for a very long time on Instagram, and I didn't correlate the fact that he had a YouTube channel. I'm not very good with social media sometimes. And I have seen his posts and liked them and stuff, and then I realized he also had a YouTube channel. So I recently subscribed to him. He is very similar, has actually pretty much all the same taste as me in regards to death metal and music as a whole. So definitely check him out. I'll link in the description. And then the next one is Welcome to Hell. The Welcome to Hell. I don't know if he's calling it podcast. I think it's just called Welcome to Hell. Mike Abominator from Ruin and just, he's been around forever. He started a channel. I don't know if it was this year. I think it's actually been almost a year now. That is really catering to the lack of not having Ken's Death Metal Crypt anymore, where he's showing off old demo stacks and talking through old 90s, old school death metal, grind, black metal, and having over an hour long videos and going in depth and talking about how he knows the band and seeing them and getting the flyers. And he just did a whole entire video on Seraphic Decay Records and showed off grails of 7 inches, and I just was drooling the whole fucking time. I love his channel. I've seen every single video. I've watched every single one. Check him out if you're into that old school archiving of death metal, because I'm a huge nerd and I absolutely love that stuff. And then the final one is Medicant Media, Jeff over I should say down under, down in Australia. So, funny enough, I watched his videos because they are always in my homepage, but never subscribed to him, and I'm so bad at this. I'm such a bad YouTube ally for the scene, where I watch so many people's videos, and I realize I'm not subscribed to him. So I finally subbed to him this year, and now I see, in my subscription box when he drops a new video, Jeff shows off so much new stuff. He has a very similar style, or not similar style, well, yeah, similar style videos, but similar taste of music as me. He's super into gore grind and stuff, and he's shown off things that I didn't think I'd ever like, and then I go listen to it and I really enjoy it. So check him out. Another Aussie. He's got such a very soothing voice. Jeff, you have a very soothing voice. It's very calming. So yeah, anyway, that's it. That is my metal tag for 2025. Let me know. Yeah, let me know. Is there anything that you guys think okay, new releases this year. put it in the comments. What's coming out this year that I should be looking forward to? Because I've completely slacked off on that. If you have any of the grails that I mentioned, shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook, or just comment on here. I'm not kidding. I will try and get them if you're willing to sell them. So that's all that I have, and I'll see you guys in the next one.